TIFU by forgetting my SD card for my first photo shoot. Today was supposed to be my first professional photo shoot. I'm a new photographer. For 2 years I've been doing free photo shoots for friends and family as I build up my skill set. I just recently decided to start charging a low price to save up some money for the holidays. My first client was a family of 7 wanting to do a family photo shoot. A mother of 5 dressed up her entire family in perfectly matching and adorable outfits and met me at a park 40 minutes from town to take family photos by the lake at golden hour. The lighting was perfect, and the leaves on the trees here have just started turning yellow and red. I turned on my camera and my stomach dropped. No SD card detected. I already knew where it was, on my desk at home, but I went through my gear and double-checked just in case. I had no choice but to fess up. I offered to run home and get it but explained that it would take 40 minutes both ways and the lighting would be gone. The mom was super gracious and agreed to reschedule and let her kids go play in the park while I stammered out as many apologies as I could muster. She pointed out that it was better to realize this mistake before the photo shoot, and not after we had put more effort into actually taking the pictures. I'm so grateful for her grace, but I'm still nauseous over the whole thing. Today I messed up by thinking Thanksgiving break started on Tuesday. I work at hospital during the night shift, 7 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., and since I am also studying in college, my schedule is usually pretty precise so that I am not exhausted at either classes or work. Well, because of the holidays, they scheduled me on Wednesday, which is good since I have actual Thanksgiving off, and since I usually work my shifts in a row, I scheduled myself on Tuesday too, since I was free that day because my college was on break. Well, my college was not on break and my schedule for the day had me at college from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then at work by 7 p.m. It doesn't help that I had an exam that day, too, so I had stayed up late and only got 4 hours of sleep. Well, to put it blandly, I was exhausted during my whole shift and the only thing keeping me going after 2 a.m. was the caffeine flowing through my veins. Eventually, 7 a.m. arrives and I'm ready to go home. I'm giving report to the next shift when my manager, whom I have only met once before, tells me that we have a mandatory meeting. She leaves, and I have a meltdown. In front of all my coworkers, I started going on about how I just wanted to go to bed, and how I didn't want to go to the meeting and even said that if they didn't see me again that night it was because of the meeting taking my sleep time. Very childish and very embarrassing. I was loud, and my supervisor and even some doctors heard me. Honestly, in retrospect, I was basically throwing a tantrum at work. I've never had issues with my mood so I have no idea where all that frustration and energy came from, but I did not handle it well. I went to the meeting, went to my car, had a good scream and then got to bed. I woke up mortified of my unprofessional behavior and ready to apologize at work when I saw I had a missed call from my supervisor whom apparently put me on call tonight so I don't have to come in unless the next supervisor calls me in. Don't know if it was related to my behavior from yesterday, but now I am worried about the perception my coworkers have of me at work and my job safety. Anyways, I am going to use my time as I wait for a potential call-in to work on my newly discovered anger issues and whatnot. Today I messed up by asking a black woman if she's in the colored group. I've been working on my social anxiety, public speaking, and the fear of being the center of attention. I've been going to public speaking lessons, reading books, wearing more colors that aren't just black, and other stuff. Also, one of the various methods I have been using is modeling gigs. So this one time, my modeling agency contacted me saying there is a photo shoot for a hairstyling company, so I go. At first, they had a separate between those who are cool with any cut or color to their hair and those who are not cool. They later separated us between those who have virgin hair, meaning it hasn't been colored or treated, and those do. I have natural dark brown hair that has been colored so I try to find the location where the other women were as well. This is where I fucked up. There were about 40 women auditioning in this very small boutique salon which made it difficult to know which group was what. I asked this girl if she was in the colored group, and she was caught off guard with my question. It only dawned on me a few moments later that she was confused by my question because she was black. Today I messed up by lifting something heavy when I had an ovarian cyst. So I have severe endometriosis and grow very large ovarian cysts. For the past couple months I have had an ovarian cyst that I was waiting for surgery to get removed, along with my entire ovary. The cyst was about the size of a grapefruit at last ultrasound. My doctor had advised me not to lift anything too heavy or do anything too strenuous, as that would increase a risk of it rupturing. Last night I had something to carry from my car. It was about 10 pounds and I was too stubborn to wait for help and didn't think 10 pounds would be too heavy for me to handle. Well, I was wrong. I lifted the object from my car and immediately I felt severe, sharp pain. I knew the cyst ruptured or twisted on my ovary. I doubled over and immediately went into fight or flight mode. At that point, it seemed more logical to get in my car and drive to the hospital than to walk back inside and get my phone to call for help. So I drove myself to the hospital, wailing and crying the whole way. It was about a 25-minute drive. I parked my car and had no idea how I was going to walk all the way inside. But I was still in flight or fight mode and somehow managed to get inside. The last thing I remember was a nurse helping me into a wheelchair, and I don't remember much after because I went into shock. Many tests and a blood transfusion later, I am home from the hospital and doing better but still so sore. I have major anxiety just thinking about it and worrying about it happening again. It was hands down the most painful thing I ever experienced. Today I messed up by dropping off my dog at my kid's school. So, I have a 16-year-old dog, 10-year-old daughter, 6-year-old son and 4-year-old son. My task list for the morning is: drop off youngest at daycare. Drop off middle child at elementary school. Drop off oldest at middle school. Drop off dog at senior doggy daycare. Pick up coffee for myself and wife. Return home with coffee. I did. Drop off youngest at daycare. Drop off middle child at elementary school. Drop off oldest at middle school. Pick up coffee for myself and wife. Return home with coffee. Now the discerning reader will note that my task list has 6 items but my executed task list has 5 items. However, the engineer in me would say that I successfully completed the story since the definition of done was return home with empty car and 2 coffees. My wife is a product manager and tells me this is stupid, but WTF do product managers know, right? Anyway, turns out middle child took dog with him when he left car. I was talking with older daughter and didn't notice. Once I dropped her off, the car was empty, so I went to get coffee. Again, in my defense. Okay, I have no defense. I totally spaced out and it's completely my fault, hence I'm posting here on TIFU. The worst part was showing up at doggy daycare in the afternoon to pick up the dog and having them say, "What dog? You didn't drop her off today." I nearly had an anxiety attack on the spot, but that's also when I checked my voicemail, so it worked out pretty quickly. Anyway, the dog spent the day with my kid at his school. They did in fact try to call me once, maybe twice, but according to the story I told my wife it was only once, but I was on call so I didn't notice. It's a small private school, so things went okay and my kid's class was highly entertained. Dog loves kids and treats and got plenty of both, so she was fine. In fact, they even sent her home with a daily report card, which I found entertaining. For the record, she did well in reading but not so well in math and does in fact play well with others.